Hi friends, today I wanted to give you another Headless Maya installment. Today I wanted to do a readathon check-in. I have already read one book and I wanted to share my thoughts on that book as well as sharing what I would like to read during this month as well. I have already read My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness. This is by Nagata Kabi. This book is all about a 28-year-old who feels that she is behind because she hasn't experienced certain things, and so this book, it follows her life up to that point. So we get to see what her family is like, we get to see what her attachment style is like, and we get to see how her mental health has affected her as well. After finishing this book, I don't necessarily think it's the best book that I've ever read. I will say that it was great to read about somebody who does have a lot of things going on in life and yet they are learning to accept themselves. Now, I want to share the books that I want to get to this month. The next book that I want to talk about briefly is The Best We Could Do. This is a graphic memoir about our author. Her family was from Vietnam, and this tells their story of leaving Vietnam to come to the States. I've heard nothing but good things about this, and I'm hoping to get to it this month. The next book that I want to talk about is If They Come For Us. This is by Fatima Asghar, and this book is full of her poem. I believe that the author is of Pakistani descent, and look at this cover. This is amazing. It is so beautiful, and B, I'm just very interested in getting into this one. The next book that I want to talk about is Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. Celeste Ng is a Chinese American author, and I had the privilege of reading Little Fires Everywhere last year. Absolutely adored it, and I am very interested in this book as well. I don't know too much about it except for the fact that it follows a family, and in that family one of the daughters has died, but the thing is the reader knows about that but the family does not, and so I'm pretty sure you're going to be reading about their discovery of the loss of this family member. The next one that I have to share is Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. Mary H.K. Choi is a Korean American author. I know that a lot of the communication that takes place in this book is over text message, and I think that's really fitting because that's very much how people communicate nowadays. I don't really know too much about the plot, but when I saw this come out and I saw the cover, I was like, I definitely need to get to that one. The next book that I have is Persepolis. This is by an Iranian author. This book talks all about her life growing up in Iran, and I believe we get to see how she was raised, her relationship with her family, and in addition to that, we get to see what life was like in Iran when she was growing up. I've heard so many good things about all of these books, but again, very interested in this one. The next book that I have is The Astonishing Color of After. This is by Emily X.R. Pan. Emily is Chinese and Taiwanese. This book follows a main character who is Taiwanese and white, and the main character is navigating the loss of her mom, and I believe that she actually travels to Taiwan to meet up with family members that she hasn't seen in a while or hasn't met at all. This book touches on grief as well as mental health. I've heard that it is beautifully written, and I kind of want to see what the fuss is about, so hoping to get to this one too. The next book that I have is the group read, and that is 1,000 Beginnings and Endings. This book has 15 retellings of Asian myths and legends. It was edited by Ellen O and Elsie Chapman, but there are so many other authors who have contributed to this book. I personally am not, or at least I don't think that I'm aware of a lot of Asian myths and legends, so reading about this is going to be very eye-opening, and I have to wonder what it's like for someone who is familiar with these tales to then read the retellings, if that makes sense. So pumped about this one too. Lastly, I also have Internment. I believe that this author is of Indian descent, I think. She was born in India and came to the US. This is a young adult dystopian novel in which there are now these internment camps that people send Muslim families to. The description alone is quite captivating because unfortunately there are a lot of people who would not oppose camps like this, and so I think it's really important that this subject matter is being talked about and that a book like this is out. I've heard mixed reviews about this, but I'm very excited to get into this. And again, the cover. So those are the books that I hope to read during the month of May for the Asian Readathon. I hope to also do check-ins every time that I finish a book. If you're participating in the Asian Readathon, please let me know. I would love to know what books you are reading this month. As always, I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!